In 1978, ABBA ruled the music scene, but they were closer to being forgotten than anyone realized. Behind the scenes, personal tensions were rising. Jealousy, emotional strain, and marriages on the verge of collapse. To stay on top, they desperately needed a new hit. No one could have imagined that, in the middle of this crisis, a song would be born that wouldn't just save them, it would make them conquer an unexpected continent. How did it all happen? Let's begin. By 1978, ABBA were at the very peak of musical success. The Swedish group, Benny Andersson on keyboards, Björn Ulvaeus on guitar, and the unmistakable voices of Agnetha Fältskog and Annie Frid Lyngstad had taken the world by storm after winning the 1974 Eurovision Song Contest with Waterloo, the song that marked their major international breakthrough. From that moment on, the band seemed unstoppable. They topped charts across the globe with a flawless formula. Irresistibly catchy pop melodies, exquisite vocal harmonies, and polished, sophisticated production. Songs like Mamma Mia, SOS, and Dancing Queen became true anthems of the decade. Riding an extraordinary winning streak, ABBA released 3 massively successful albums in a row. ABBA, 1975, Arrival, 1976, and The Album, 1977. Each release further cemented their dominance of the music industry, turning them into a global phenomenon. But in 1978, the challenge ahead was even greater. How do you surpass success on that scale? The pressure was clear. ABBA needed another major hit or risk being left behind. Yet things were far from simple. The weight of staying on top, combined with growing personal problems within the band, began to take a toll on the creative process, as we're about to see. With the obligation to surpass, or at least match, their previous successes, ABBA began work on their next album. But this time, creativity didn't come as easily. The sessions no longer flowed with the same speed or ease, and the pressure to keep delivering hit after hit began to take its toll. Yet creative struggles were only part of the problem. Personal tensions within the group were just as disruptive. ABBA was not just a band, it was also 2 romantic couples, each heading in completely opposite directions. While Benny and Frida were on the verge of getting married, Björn and Agnetha were facing an imminent divorce. On top of that, Frida began to feel jealous of the attention Agnetha received from the rest of the group, further intensifying the already tense atmosphere in the studio. With this mix of emotions and personal conflicts, the album's preparation became a challenge from the very start. Still, despite all these obstacles, ABBA knew they needed a powerful single, one that captured the essence of the band and made audiences fall in love with them all over again. What they didn't know was that their inspiration would come from the legendary folk duo Simon and Garfunkel. And that story begins now. If you believe Simon and Garfunkel or ABBA are unbeatable, hit that subscribe button and tell us what you think in the comments below. ABBA began working on their next single, but the early ideas failed to deliver the impact they were looking for. They experimented with songs like Kol Supare, Cabbage Drinker, and 3 Wise Guys, yet none of them convinced the band. They also tried developing In the Arms of Rosalita, a heartbreak story about a woman who had been abandoned. But the song simply didn't fit what they were searching for. No matter how hard they tried, the right song remained out of reach. The spark that changed everything came from an unexpected place. While traveling, Benny and Björn heard El Condor Pasa by Simon and Garfunkel on the radio, and were immediately captivated by its nostalgic, evocative atmosphere. They felt that same spirit could breathe new life into their unfinished song. Back in the studio, they lightened the melody, brought the acoustic guitar to the forefront, and added a warmer, more Latin feel. With these changes, the song stopped being a tale of heartbreak and transformed into something entirely different. Bjorn rewrote the lyrics, focusing on the image of a sad little girl being comforted, and that's how Chiquitita was born. Some versions suggest the song may have been inspired by a 12-year-old Swedish girl named Angelina, who had lost her aunt Rosalita, her closest figure and source of unconditional love. Deeply moved by the story, Bjorn and Benny poured that emotion into the lyrics. At last, ABBA had their song. But one crucial step remained: presenting it to the world. To do that, they needed a bold strategy, one that would ensure Chiquitita wasn't just heard, but became a true phenomenon. What they did next would make all the difference, as we'll see in the next chapter. In early 1979, a charity concert was organized at the United Nations General Assembly to commemorate the International Year of the Child. The idea was for world-renowned artists to premiere new songs and donate their royalties to UNICEF. For ABBA, this was the perfect opportunity to unveil their newly created Chiquitita. On January 9th, they took the stage alongside music giants such as the Bee Gees, John Denver, Rod Stewart, and Donna Summer. Performing before a globally televised audience, ABBA presented the song for the very first time, instantly captivating listeners with its emotional melody and unmistakable style. Just days later, on January 16th, Chiquitita was released commercially, and its impact was immediate. The song quickly climbed to the top of the charts across much of Europe, cementing itself as a global hit. In the United Kingdom, it debuted at number 8, the highest chart entry ABBA had achieved up to that point, and peaked at number 2, held back only by Blondie's Heart of Glass. In the United States, its performance was more modest, reaching number 29 on the Billboard Hot 100. Even so, worldwide it became the most successful single from the album Voulez-Vous, surpassing even the group's more dance-driven tracks. But what no one realized at the time was that the success of Chiquitita was still in its infancy. An unexpected triumph awaited on the other side of the continent, where the song would go on to become an anthem for an entire generation in the 1980s. Before the release of Chiquitita, ABBA had never achieved major success in South America. Despite their worldwide fame, the Latin American market had remained elusive for the group. Aware of this gap, RCA Records Argentina, the label responsible for distributing their music in the region, devised a crucial strategy to change that reality. Buddy McCluskey, an executive at the company, proposed recording a Spanish-language version of the song, convinced that it could unlock ABBA's potential with Spanish-speaking audiences. The adaptation was a meticulous process. Buddy and his wife, Mary McCluskey, translated the lyrics with great care, preserving the original phonetics to maintain the song's essence. ABBA embraced the idea and re-recorded Chiquitita in Spanish, releasing it as a single in Argentina in April 1979. The result was overwhelming. The song immediately climbed to number 1 on the charts, and within just a few months sold 500,000 copies, even surpassing the English version in the country. The success was so unprecedented that some considered it the biggest hit in South America in the previous 25 years. The impact was so profound that ABBA decided to deepen their connection with the Spanish-speaking world. In 1980, they released Gracias por la Música, a full Spanish-language album featuring versions of their greatest hits. The phenomenon of Chiquitita in Spanish proved that when music conveys universal emotions like comfort and hope, It can transcend any cultural or linguistic barrier. Unlike many of ABBA's other major hits, Chiquitita never had a traditional promotional music video. The absence of a video for such a successful song suggests that its impact relied primarily on its musical and emotional power, as well as its strong association with UNICEF. The song's most iconic televised performance was recorded in February 1979, during the filming of ABBA in Switzerland for the BBC, helping to expand its reach worldwide. Its impact in Latin America was nothing short of colossal. The song not only dominated the charts, but also became an anthem of comfort during difficult times. In an era marked by social and political crises, Chiquitita resonated deeply with people searching for a ray of hope. Its success was so profound that it became part of the collective imagination, played at celebrations, karaoke nights, parties, and even school events, securing its place as one of ABBA's most beloved songs in the region. The true legacy of Chiquitita went beyond music when ABBA decided to donate half of all the song's royalties to UNICEF, following its performance at the International Year of the Child concert in January 1979. In 2014, the group reaffirmed that commitment by increasing the donation to 100% of their royalties, turning it into one of the most significant charity songs in history. By 2022, Chiquitita had raised more than $5 million for children's programs, including psychological support and child protection initiatives in Guatemala. What makes Chiquitita so fascinating is that it didn't just redefine ABBA's story. It cemented them as one of the most iconic bands in the history of popular music. But it's far from the only song to leave an indelible mark on our cultural memory. A perfect example is California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas, a song that captured the spirit of an entire generation through its unmistakable vocal harmonies and its blend of folk and rock, becoming a true anthem of the hippie movement. And that is a story I'll be telling you next. Click on the next video. I'll see you there, my fellow rock fan.